I can't take it anymore. I want to go to Mommy. My 5-year-old granddaughter pleaded with me, her eyes hollow and her body emaciated. I found her chained up in the storage shed where I had gone to sort through my daughter's belongings. Weren't you missing? And your mommy has passed away, sweetheart. I want to see my daughter too. Sharing her exact feelings, my tears flowed uncontrollably. As my granddaughter kept repeating, I want to go to Mommy, I made a decision. All right then, shall we go to the other side together? But just as I placed my hands on my granddaughter's neck, something caught my eye that felt so familiar. This is. At that moment, realizing a certain truth, I vowed to seek revenge. On my daughter's wedding day, I was overjoyed and called out to Vanessa, "Be happy, darling. I'm Susan, 58 years old, working as a medical clerk at a nearby hospital. If I may say so myself, after losing my husband early on, I worked hard to raise my daughter Vanessa and her younger brother. Mom, thank you for everything. You must be tired. Let me give you a shoulder massage." Vanessa, like her kind father, is a thoughtful daughter. She would always say things like that to me, which was so comforting. After becoming an adult, Vanessa started running an online shop and seemed to have quite a bit in savings. A few years ago, she married Daniel, a wonderful elite company employee, and they were blessed with a cute daughter named Olivia. My son also graduated from university, became a company employee, and became independent. I was finally able to relax a bit. However, on a hot summer day, Vanessa suddenly came home with Olivia. Her expression was dark, and she didn't look well. "What's wrong? You don't seem yourself. Did something happen?" It might just be my imagination, but I feel like Daniel's attitude towards me has been getting colder lately. According to Vanessa, Daniel would always come home late at night smelling of alcohol. Moreover, he would ignore her when she tried to talk to him, yell, "Shut up," at her, and sometimes even hit or kick her. And he says he doesn't need to contribute to our living expenses because I have my own income. He says he's saving his share, but he won't even show me the bank book. That's troubling. I wonder what's gotten into Daniel. It must be hard for you. At this, Vanessa bit her lip and tears started to fall. For my patient daughter to show such weakness, she must be really suffering. I gently spoke to her, "Why don't you try living apart from him for a while? If you want a divorce, you can come back home anytime." However, my daughter didn't nod in agreement. "Thank you. I'll keep an eye on things for a bit longer. Talking to you has made me feel a little better. I'm really okay. I can't make any quick decisions with Olivia to think about." Forcing a smile at my worried face, she continued, "Besides, Daniel was originally a kind person. Maybe if I try harder, he'll go back to his old self. I'll give it a bit more effort." With that, she left with Olivia, looking lonely. If only I had listened to her more seriously that day, things wouldn't have turned out like this. I would come to deeply regret this later. A month later, I suddenly received a call from Daniel saying that Vanessa had passed away. What? That can't be true, can it? I couldn't believe it. My child suddenly passing away. According to Daniel, Vanessa had taken her own life by jumping into a waterfall, taking Olivia with her. What's more, he said a note-like suicide note typed on a computer was found, saying, "I've lost confidence in living. I'm departing with Olivia. I lost my precious daughter because of Vanessa. What are you going to do about it?" "What do you mean?" I was confused by the shock of my daughter's death and Daniel's harsh words. "It's because of your upbringing that Vanessa turned into such a terrible woman who would even involve her daughter. It's your fault, isn't it?" "My fault? Of course it is." With a bitter expression, Daniel then told me something even more unbelievable. Apparently, while Vanessa's body had been found, Olivia was still missing. "I don't care about Vanessa, I just wish my daughter had been found." To top it off, he said he had already cremated Vanessa in a private funeral and scattered her ashes in the sea because it would look bad to the public. How could you? Pushed to the brink of despair, unable to even see my beloved daughter's final moments, I was left in shock. After that, I couldn't focus on anything and took a leave of absence from work. Day and night, the images of my daughter and granddaughter kept appearing in my mind, and my tears wouldn't stop flowing. A week later, I received a phone call from Daniel. "I want to move on quickly, so I'm going to sort through Vanessa's belongings. I'm throwing away everything that belonged to her." As he rattled on one-sidedly, I managed to interrupt him with, "Please, wait. Let me do it. I couldn't be there for my daughter's final moments, but at least let me take care of her belongings." Daniel seemed unsatisfied with my words, but I couldn't back down. 1 week was far too soon for sorting through belongings, no matter how you looked at it. Plus, given that my daughter had consulted me before, I couldn't fully trust Daniel and wanted to check for any clues with my own eyes. So, unable to sit still, I went to my daughter's house the next evening. I couldn't reach Daniel, so I waited in front of the entrance, but even late into the night, he didn't come home. Left with no choice, I called Daniel again, only to be met with sudden anger. "It's inconsiderate to come without notice. I'm working late today, so go home. Besides, didn't I tell you I'd take care of Vanessa's stuff? Don't ever come to my house again. I'm sorry for bothering you when you're busy. But Vanessa gave me a spare key before, in case of emergencies. Can't I use that to go in?" "Of course not." "Geez, what a pushy old hag. I'll sue you." His cold words shocked me, but Daniel paid no mind and kept yelling before hanging up. I didn't have the courage to enter the house without Daniel's permission, so I was about to leave. But then, a strange smell caught my attention. It was like rotting garbage. As I traced the source of the smell, it seemed to be coming from the storage shed in the backyard. What could that smell be? With an ominous feeling, I went around to the back of the shed and peeked through a window there. Something was moving inside. It was too dark to see clearly, but it looked like a living creature. What could it be? I felt a chill run down my spine, but I felt I couldn't leave it alone. I tried to open the shed, but the old lock was broken, and the door was blocked with something like a stick. Even so, after shaking the door violently a few times, I managed to open it. And as I nervously entered, a shocking sight greeted me. My granddaughter, who I had been told was missing, was chained up inside. Olivia. As I rushed over to her, my granddaughter slowly looked up at me with a puzzled expression. Grandma. Around Olivia were scattered empty lunch boxes with a rotten smell and half-eaten bread. Plus, there was a bucket with excrement in it. How terrible, you poor thing. I was more shocked by this situation than happy to find Olivia alive. I gently hugged my small granddaughter. However, Olivia, with her emaciated body and vacant eyes, whispered, "I can't take it anymore. I want to go to Mommy soon." Her words made my tears flow uncontrollably. "Grandma, take me to Mommy." "Yes, let's go together." Overwhelmed by the grief of losing my daughter, I put my hands on Olivia's neck, intending to go to the other world with her. That's when I noticed the necklace around Olivia's neck. It was the one I had given to Vanessa as a charm. There was also a key attached to the necklace that shouldn't have been there. "Where did you get this?" When I asked about the familiar key, Olivia told me, "This is." What Olivia said next shocked me to my core, and I felt my blood boiling with anger. So that's what happened. I absolutely cannot forgive this. I found some pliers in the shed and managed to cut the chain, then took Olivia to a certain place. This is how I decided to seek revenge on behalf of my daughter. The next day, Daniel barged into my home. His eyes were bloodshot, his brows furrowed, and his face was beet red. "You took Olivia, didn't you? She's my daughter. Give her back." Whatever do you mean? I've called you countless times and you didn't answer. It must be you. Daniel, his face getting redder as he yelled, didn't seem to realize he was contradicting himself. But wasn't Olivia missing? Daniel stumbled over his words for a moment, then glared at me. "How dare you call yourself a father after what you've done to her? She's just a spoiled brat who doesn't listen to her parents. I was just disciplining her. Besides, Vanessa took her own life because she was troubled by raising Olivia." Daniel started listing how unmanageable Olivia was. "This is the first I'm hearing of this. Of course I didn't tell you. You'd just spoil her. That's why I said she was missing. How I deal with my child is my right as a parent. It's none of your business. But chaining her up and locking her away goes beyond discipline. I'm going to report this." Suddenly, Daniel's lips curled into a smirk, and he started laughing. "You don't have any proof." "Oh, but I do. We should be able to get a medical report too." I showed him the pictures of Olivia I had taken on my phone. "When did you give me Olivia?" Daniel lunged at me, trying to grab my phone. Just then, someone came out of the next room shouting, "Stop," and grabbed Daniel's arm. It was my son. "Why are you here? Let go of me." Actually, when I told my son yesterday about finding Olivia, he rushed over to help. Daniel, now pinned down by my son who had been trained in American football during his college days, looked pathetic. "We know that you stole Vanessa's savings and that you beat her up when she found out about your affair. Daniel looked at me suspiciously, asking, "How do you know all that?" "Vanessa told me." "Huh? She's alive." Daniel's face turned pale with shock. "I told him about the situation when I met my daughter. Actually, the key attached to Olivia's necklace was for my old family home. It's now vacant, but we kept it for sentimental reasons. And at that time, Olivia had pleaded, Mommy said this necklace was a charm. Mommy is hurt. Please help." Hearing this, I saw a glimmer of hope that my daughter might still be alive. After rescuing Olivia, I headed straight to my old family home and found Vanessa collapsed there. "Vanessa, hang in there." As I lifted her up, I heard a faint whisper, "Mom." Olivia also clung to Vanessa, crying, "Mommy. I missed you." I quickly called 911, and Vanessa was rushed to the hospital and saved. The doctor said that if we had been a little later, she would have lost her life. Olivia was also in poor nutritional condition, so she was admitted to the hospital as well. Thus, I felt joy from the bottom of my heart at the safety of my daughter, whom I thought I would never see again. But at the same time, my whole body burned with anger towards the person who had put my daughter and granddaughter through such a terrible ordeal. Later, I heard the whole story from Vanessa after she regained consciousness in the hospital. Apparently, while cleaning, Vanessa had discovered evidence of Daniel's affair and the fact that he had embezzled her money from his computer, and she had confronted him about it. He flew into a rage and beat and kicked her, injuring her. When Vanessa, feeling a sharp pain in her kicked stomach and becoming dizzy, asked Daniel for help, he just laughed and went to the bedroom. Feeling it was dangerous to stay at home, Vanessa fled with Olivia's help. They managed to escape from the house, but Vanessa had been robbed of her bankbook, wallet, and phone by Daniel. With no other choice, she staggered for about an hour until she reached my old family home. Olivia, trying to help her mother, went back home to get Vanessa's phone and wallet while she was sleeping, and that's when her father caught her. But even when chained up, Olivia never revealed Vanessa's whereabouts, no matter how many times she was asked. Vanessa and Olivia were on the brink of death. Vanessa was pale and barely breathing. Even if she had escaped, it was only a matter of time. Daniel spoke lightly. Olivia wouldn't talk, and there was no contact from anywhere, so I just thought they had gone to the other world somewhere out of sight. Thinking Vanessa was dead, Daniel created a suicide note on the computer to make it look like Vanessa had taken her own life. Furthermore, he decided to keep Olivia locked up in the shed, planning to send her to the other world eventually. It was just a marital quarrel. The affair was just a game. Vanessa's alive now, so isn't that enough? That's not the point. I'm recording this conversation too, and I'm going to report it to the police. Hearing the word police, Daniel suddenly panicked and started begging for forgiveness on his knees. His sudden change of attitude was astounding. I'm sorry. I'll break up with my affair partner and be kind to Vanessa from now on, so please don't involve the police. I can't believe anything you say. When I refused him like this, he tried to cling to my arm. If I get arrested, Olivia will be left without a father. Is that okay with you? I brushed away Daniel's hand as he pleaded with tears in his eyes, desperately trying to save himself. She'd be happier without a father like you. But at that moment, the police arrived and took Daniel away. After that, Vanessa divorced Daniel. Daniel received a prison sentence and was fired from his company due to his conviction. Vanessa demanded $100,000 for the savings he had embezzled, $20,000 in damages for the affair and injuries, and $150,000 in child support. She also demanded $10,000 in damages from Daniel's mistress. It seems Daniel had planned to live with his mistress, but for her, it was just a fling. When Daniel's parents learned of his actions, they apologized to Vanessa and sold some land to cover the money Daniel owed, but they intend to make Daniel work to pay them back. Daniel is bound to face a miserable situation even after his release. Vanessa and Olivia, now recovered, have come back to live with me. Vanessa, fully recovered, has started working and is living a peaceful life. I'm also energized and doing my best for them.